Hey vinyl community, I am back again with a vinyl one done over VC lottery bonus question. So this is going to wrap it up. This is it. If you're not, it's too late. If you're watching this video now, it's pretty much too late to join the lottery because I'm having this video posted later in the evening on the final day of the videos. So anyway, at this point, Bobby threw out an extra question. You don't have to do it. I'm going to go ahead and do it just because. Now, it's more about him because Bobby, we all know, is this guy that lives and thrives on himself. And so he wants to hear about himself. So, you know, let's appease the guy, okay? He's just some poor soul that needs some attention. So we're going to give him some attention. Yeah, so, no, Bobby does want to hear about, because he's basing this on something that Brandon said about him, and just, you know, again, just kind of a bonus question. So I wanted to chime in. I have known and followed Bobby's channels. He's one of those ones that disappears. He erases everything, comes back, starts over, erases everything over the years. Now, I started making videos in 2018. And I've told this story before in other videos, but very first person, other than Scott Waters, who I was kind of friends with because of the music scene, I knew that, I had known that he was doing, I wasn't into records, but I knew that he did records and vinyls and stuff like that. So, but when I started looking into people who do things in the vinyl community, I discovered already knew Scott, and then I discovered Ron Haggerty was one of the very first ones in one of his early channels. And one of probably the first 3 to 5 people that I discovered and started watching was Bobby. He was one of the first ones. Bobby Z, I believe, was one of his channels, was his early channel. And again, I was just watching who I discovered. I'm sure there were others, tons of them out there, but those were the only ones that in the beginning that I spent time watching. So my first video that I made in, I believe, like August of 2018, I think is when it was a contest entry for a Ron Haggerty contest. Back then, his channel was called Mind Over Metal, and it was a space-related thing. But anyway, it's funny because Bobby, in his video about this question, mentioned, you know, how influential Ron has been for Bobby on doom metal. So these guys were the early days I cut my teeth on it. They were some of the only ones I watched. Now, I made my first video. I jumped in. Hey, I'm going to jump into the vinyl community. And one of the next videos I saw by Robert was this rave, this rant against the vinyl community and how corrupt it is and how backbiting the people are. And I was like taken aback. I was like, what have I got myself into? He was just... And the thing is, and I didn't know this, I didn't know how, is he being serious? I assumed he was being serious, and still, he's got that character. If you know Bobby, he's got that character. You don't know, is he pulling your leg, is he whatever? So, I don't know, but at that point I wrote and said, wow, I just jumped on board this, now you got me second guessed. And he wrote back and said, you know, don't take everything I say, you know, as truth. It's a lot of it can be like tongue-in-cheek. So anyway, you kind of get the feel for how he goes into these. But so I would have to say I can't say I've been influenced musically by, I mean, he shows a lot of different stuff, a lot of stuff that's outside my realm. I appreciate a lot of stuff, have listened to a lot of stuff. I can't pinpoint and say because of him I now listen to Madonna. I told him the other day, I still have never heard a Pink Floyd album, one of his favorite bands. Never heard a Pink Floyd album from start to finish. I've heard the songs on the radio, period. So there's, you know, he was talking about things that have influenced him, but I will say that I keep coming back because of the over-the-top quirky antics. The never know what's going to come out of his mouth, and never, you know, it's just, he can be hilarious. He could be catch you off guard with just some funny things. Now, in the early days, again, he was one of the ones. He used to go live occasionally, and we'd watch. And I don't know if I should even tell this story because, you know, it's not a big deal, but this was my first interaction with him was during these live chats. And he'd just be walking around his house doing laundry and talking. But, you know, the topic of religion came up. Ron was on there, who's, you know, a professing believer. I was on there. And Bobby started railing off against people who believed in, you know, Christianity. And again, it's like, is it how he was railing off against it? But it's like, is he tongue-in-cheek? Is it true? It was just funny. It was funny. It was, but I'm like, I didn't let it shake me. I'm not going to argue with people over things like that, per se. You know, I'm not going to, whatever. We all have our different set of beliefs, and we go about it. So it didn't stop me from still loving to come back to the guy's channel and still interacting with him, and have been, you know, I've continued to be a part of the lottery for the past few years. I've sent out packages, at least 3 or 4 packages. So have always been a part, and get along great. And so I just love the antics, and you never really know, is he being serious? Is he not? Obviously, there's always, people say there's always some seriousness in people's jokes. Yeah, whatever. But, you know, so Bobby, I just enjoy your antics. I'm blown away by some of your very strict policies on music. I mean, I just wish I was quite that organized. You're always rearranging your room, and it's always cool to see how organized and neat things are. I've seen people send you VCLT. I've seen the appreciate. I just think everything's cool about just watching your personality and having fun with it. Again, it's been like a fun part. And then you disappear for a while, and then you come back, and it's like, man, you got to start all over, because you used to have one of the bigger channels back when I first got into it. You were one of the larger ones with subscribers and stuff. But yeah, so that's about it. I mean, I can't say there's been a big influence musically on a lot of the stuff. There hasn't. I can't think of anything where I'm like, yes, I did this because of that. But just the antics, personality, the extreme love at times that you show, as far as just the appreciation for so many people. I have discovered other channels because of you, because you have friends in all places that I'm like, oh, I don't know that person. Look them up, you know. So there's been a lot of that. So yeah, that's it. I appreciate that, and just the friendship of being able to connect with other people that have this desire for music, and just watching some of the crazy stuff he does in videos. That's the funniest thing, is when he just goes off. He would just, anyway, if you don't know his channel, you need to check it out. Right now, he's, you know, he started over again, and so he's got very few subscribers. And yeah, but it can be fun, crazy stuff, some of the things he says. That's it for this one, though. Just a real brief, just a real quick one for appreciation for Bobby, and the fact that he has taken on this lottery year after year. And yeah, it's a lot of work. And if you haven't seen the wheel spin, last year was out of this world. I can only imagine what he's going to be doing. I mean, it was just, last year was the way different. One year he had it all on boards and in hats and drawing stuff, and I remember that was kind of complicated, but I think that was the year that yeah, anyway, I remember it was different ways, but that wheel last year, crazy. Check it out, though, and at least watch the VC Lotto. If you didn't join into it, just watch the wheel. It's an amazing thing. It should be coming up shortly after this video, within the next couple of days. I'll see you later, though. Rock on and rock hard.